Sorry, mate. Might be wrong.
Yeah, cool. As you can see from the RFID there. Beautiful little hand here, the old 7.3 suited. He's going to fold it. Come around to Yoon. Yoon's going to raise this up. He's going to make it 135 to go. The King, Queen of Jack diamonds. See if he gets any action. Go from there. It's folded all the way around. Next stand here. Hand for hand will happen today when we get down to the final 10. Due to the TLPT kindly gifting the event $25,000 ticket to the next $25,000 event. Due to a clerical error that we had earlier. Kind of a bit of a funny story, but player brand new to the game. Player brand new to the game. Never played a hand of poker in his life. Inadvertently got given a ticket, I should say. And sat in the game, and he played. He played against the world's best, and accumulated a few chips. And it wasn't until after day one that we realised that he wasn't supposed to be in the event. So I had to make a floor call and DQ the player from the event, and notify all the players prior to day two's commencement, just to let them know, look, there's a administration error. This player shouldn't have been in this event, and and that was widely received and welcomed, by the other players. They said they really enjoyed the transparency of the APT. They liked the integrity that we were able to provide. And as a direct result, instead of having 9 payouts, we have 10. We'll be going hand for hand. Look, thanks, Ado. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you so far this week, and thanks for having me in the booth. Yeah, as you know, it's my first time at this particular venue and working for the APT. Been kindly given the role of Director of Poker and the Chief Operating Officer for the Hashem Management Group. That was decided a few weeks ago prior to this event with Tony Hashem and myself and the rest of the management team. It's great to be here, to be perfectly honest with you. I've never been to Bankstown before. I'm just talking to myself. Just seeing how it sounds and what I want to do.
Yeah, I was watching it. I was watching.
Yeah? You couldn't hear me though, right? No, okay, gotcha.
No, but we're all going to do that in a moment. Everybody gets nervous their first time.
It's okay. I can figure it out. I'm just getting like a, feel for certain keywords. Oh, by the way, we get to see the players' names and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't look like, this guy has raised to 135.
No,
Yeah. Okay. Great call on the Red Bull, by the way.
Yeah.
That'll settle the nerves.
100%.
What I was going to ask is, when is the camera on us? When does it cross to us? Never. We're just doing the background.
When I choose to.
Okay, cool. Right, gotcha.
And we're in the background as well.
Yep, cool. Do we get to see what the stream looks like?
Prior.
Yeah, like what the Twitch stream looks like when we go live.
Why does this keep doing that?
Hey, can you just test your audio? Oh, you have. Yep.
Yeah, no, she's there.
I can see it. What have you got? All right, thank you, Matty. All right, so in a minute 33, we're going to get the intro happen. That happens automatically.
Yep.
And then we're going to cross straight to us. I'm just going to jump in and we're going to talk about, what day are we on? Day
3, 4.
4?
3. What day are we on, Matty? 4? Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Australian Poker Tour here at the Bankstown Sports Club. My name is Aidan Glenn, and I'm got here with me today the Director of Poker, Josh Monk. Monkey, how are we, mate?
Mate, I'm good. I'm good. I'm very, very good. Thank you so much for the opportunity to put me in the booth today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here in the box.
Yeah, it's been great. The venue's outstanding. The events have been running nice and smoothly. Yeah, been an absolute pleasure.
And fantastic. And as to my understanding, mate, we're telecasting into the final table here of the 25K challenge for the Lord Poker Tournament. You're currently directing the floor on this one, mate. How's it all going?
Yeah, look, I mean, we've had a couple of hiccups. I think we posted an announcement a couple of days ago with one of the players in this particular event, but we handled it professionally, transparently, with a lot of integrity. And that was all, welcomed by the players remaining in the field. Additionally to that, it's been a relatively smooth tournament. We're looking after all the players as best we possibly can with whatever they need. A bit of a shout out to Smurf, who's another TD working for me on this particular event. He's been outstanding and been a really good assistant. And basically can't ask for much more, to be perfectly honest.
Yes, mate, kudos to you. These things happen. They have happened before once upon a time in the Australian Poker Tour at a lower level. But when we're talking about the 25K buy-in stakes, unfortunately, we need to be able to be as clear as day with the decisions made on the floor. And we've done that. You guys have made the decision to go out publicly and say that these things have happened. And there's nothing but transparency here at the Australian Poker Tour. So much appreciation to you with that, mate.
My pleasure.
Mate, before we do jump live into the action here, I know that you've got a bit of a background. To my understanding, you've had experience in Crown Casino and Poker Stars. How was your time at either of those organisations?
Look, I mean, I've had a pretty long standard career, in poker in general. Sort of started my career doing my own thing prior to working at Crown Casino. I was there for a couple of years. I was one of the earliest in terms of chronological time at Crown Casino to get poker as my specialty game. You usually needed to have 1 year worth of experience in the casino before they gave you a specialty game. They gave it to me after 6 months because I showed so much interest in wanting to be a poker dealer and working myself through the channels in the poker industry. And then after that, I started working for a company called Poker Nights, very similar to the pub poker scene that you see around Australia. I did that for about a year, did some tournament directing for them.
And where's Poker Nights located?
Poker Nights was originally in Melbourne. I think they might have been bought out by now. This was a few years back. We're talking sort of give or take 15 years. I've got a little bit of...
there we go. There's depth in experience.
And then after that, obviously... I wouldn't say obviously, but then after that, I applied myself for a role at Poker Stars.
Yep.
They were opening up a brand new office in Sydney.
Yep.
And I thought, why not give it a go? And out of 3,500 applicants, give or take, from what I've been told, they shuffled it down to about 16 to help start that office. And was there for 2-3 years. Got involved with the senior team over in Costa Rica, and that allowed me that gave me the opportunity to be able to move over there and work in Costa Rica for 5.5 years.
Beautiful.
And then came back here and basically sort of been in and around the scene in the capacity that I'm in at the moment.
What an experience, a beautiful journey there, and Poker Stars probably being one of the premium brands in the game, along with others. And yes, mate, so look, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here in the box. Clearly, we've got somebody at the Australian Poker Tour with a plethora of experience in the poker industry.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's not a problem whatsoever, Josh. Mate, let's cross live to the action now. Hang with me in the commentary, and I'd love to hear you give some analysis here. So let's go into the tables, ladies and gentlemen. Monkey and Aidan Glenn on the call. There we go. Alrighty, so here we've got Princess ready to shuffle up the cards. The boys are at the action for a table. I do believe there's 2 tables left at the moment there, Josh.
Yeah,
what information? Our prize pool was 1.4?
Yeah, 1.47, I believe.
Close, yeah.
Something around those lines.
And we're down to
11 players.
11 players.
At the moment.
Yep.
We've been issued out a ticket, a $25,000 ticket through the TLPT.
Yep.
Due to a clerical error that we had earlier that we put out an announcement for, which I did after day 1.
Yep.
As such, in the next bust here, we'll be doing hand for hand.
Kudos to the Lord as well, coming to the party.
Absolutely. So we'll be doing hand for hand, and then to play for that $25,000 ticket.
Amazing, amazing. So Yuta Chong here is waken up with ace-6 off in the hijack position. His stack size 3.25 million. 3.2 exactly. He's raised to 60k. Martin Finger looks like it's going in the bin, and Josh McCulley
got a bit of a story actually about Josh McCulley.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so yesterday, I was out on the floor, obviously, overlooking this event. He wasn't playing on the feature table at this particular time. Moves it all in with pocket fives. Moves it all in with pocket eights. Gets called by pocket fives. Flop comes down, I think it was like King, Jack 10. Turn card came a 5. He tapped the table to say, thank you very much for the tournament, I'm going home. And the miracle 3-side 8 came, and he made trips over trips and stayed in the event, and he's run pure ever since. It's kind of a bit of a story there.
Yeah, well, good on you to Josh McCulley. You've been looking, look, I know that you're a floor director. We have to keep no favourites in the game. But if you did say over the tournament you have been watching somebody play quite well, who's probably your top 3 picks here?
Look, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, I've been watching the play for 10 hours a day, 2 days straight. Look, this is the toughest field you're going to come across probably in this whole series. I think Josh has been, not only does he have the same name as me, but I've watched him play quite a bit. He's a very stable, very good player.
Josh has hit top pair here.
He has, indeed. This is going to be quite an interesting hand if we get a good turn. It's not one of them. So this might kill the action, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, so Josh would be, up there. There's another player out there called Yoon. I've played with him actually numerous times away from this series. He's a very, very strong player as well. He's a bit low on chips, so that he might struggle a little bit, but he's great. And then Didier is on the outside table, and he's been in the circuit for, 15 years maybe.
Didier, yeah. I do believe he's located in Sydney and has German background.
I believe so. Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
So I also like Yoon. We watched Yoon yesterday on the tables, and he was on fire, absolutely on fire, mad heater. He did take a beat late before the bagging of the day. He also was lucky enough to eliminate the Hall of Famer Joe Hasham, and I do not think that the guy's potentially going to be on the final table here in the 25K challenge as well. So have been watching him quite closely. Very entertaining as well, person to be on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely.
But my other 2 picks have they've already been eliminated. So I'm just going to stick with Yoon.
All right, you take Yoon, I'll take Josh. How's
Okay,
that sound?
done. We'll go heads up.
Beautiful, I like it.
And I'd love to hear anyone of you guys in the chat there as well today. More than welcome to let us know who you feel is your player of choice. So we've gone to the action here. That one's gone to Josh McCulley. The chip stacks here. Yida Chong is 3.1 million, all the way down to Yoon, who is the shortest of the stacks here. And that's my selection at 655. I don't mind taking an underdog, but his play has been pretty good. And if he's got anything like the run good he got yesterday with minus the bad beat, hopefully he comes back and stays into contention here.
Absolutely. Yoon's one of those guys, you give him a chip in a chair and he can do something special. So, he has the ability. Like I said before, I played with him before. I've watched him throughout this tournament. He's been very impressive. So don't count him out yet, even if he's got a short stack.
Never.
That's it. So we've got Yida Chong here with the Ace-7 of clubs. He's raised it up to 60K. Back on Martin Finger now, who's folded round to Yoon, your boy.
Yeah.
Got the 9-7 suited. Decides to put it into the bin. Sharon's going to fold as well, and around to Joshy, my selection, who's going to also fold.
Yan has got the ace-2 off in the big blind, and very possible here to defend. I'd see a call coming. Let's go to a flop here, and we've got Yan, who's in position to be able to make the first bet. Once we got our ace in the window, Yida Chong has knocked up 2 pair. There could be a bit of firing here, but Yan's got a bit of weakness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having that weak kicker of a 2 makes this hand very difficult to play. You might be able to call 1 bet, but might have to fold on the turn or the river if it doesn't improve your hand. Especially considering this board is a bit wet. There's a chance of having ace-jack. There's a chance of having a good flush draw and a straight draw. There's a chance of equities won't play as close on this board, considering hand ranges and so on and so forth. So, Yuta's got a big advantage here, and unless Yan can pick up something that he wants to continue with, I would imagine, this time.
Yeah, well, he has continued. Yan Yan's going to come along here. He needs running jacks for a chop pot.
Running twos can get there too for him if he really needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not going to help him, though, the old 4 of diamonds on the turn. This one could be over here on the turn, but let's see how we go. Action's going to go back on Yuta with the 2 pairs, aces and sevens. And the big stack.
I think he's going to continue here. I think he's more looking about how do I extract the best value out of Yuta Chung. Pot's 245. He bets.
Looks like 115.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me. He's bet 300k. I'm still getting used to the chips on the actual feed as opposed to out on the table.
I must say the 100k chip and the orange chip from the screen is very hard to
define. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Like, it's kind of like a dark orange, and then the other one's an orange, and so on the actual feed it comes across as very similar in colour. But look, I mean, when you're out there on the gaming floor, on the floor, it's completely different.
And I do believe the 100k are oversized as well, so
yeah, that's
very, very easy for the player and the dealers to be able to recognise the difference on that.
So Yan here just taking a moment to consider his choices. I mean...
Graham Bennett, welcome to the chat, mate. Appreciate you jumping in there. He's also said that Yoon is from Melbourne and a really good bloke and poker player.
I can definitely second that. I know Yoon well. He's a lovely guy, and an awesome poker player. So totally agree with that. Anyway, back on Yan here. He's making a decision whether or not to call or fold for the bet of 300k. He's got a pretty difficult situation, to be perfectly honest, because of his kicker, but he does have top pair, and he's just trying to figure out combinatorically whether or not his aces are going to be good enough to continue. It looks like he's going to lay this one down.
Yeah, good getaway there from Yan. Was it Yan that had the ace-2?
Yep, Yan.
Yeah, and he knows that the weakness in that too is not really a place that he wants to get into. We've just got this pop-up at the moment. Currently running is Event 11, the Goliath. It's a $2,500 buy-in. We've got a current prize pool of $429,750. 87 entrants.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
87 players, that is, and 191 entries. It's still open to 11. Open to
level 10. Yeah,
Mikey.
No problems. I get it. It's totally fine. We've been working non-stop all week. I can cover the float for you. No problems. Yeah, it's open to level 10.
Mate, that is on its way to breaking a record for the Goliath.
Absolutely. I mean, I know some people have taken some overs, unders on this type of event, and we'll see how we go. But absolutely incredible. So there's about 10 minutes and 20 seconds left of late registration or registration for the Goliath. So if you're in the building or you're listening to the telecast at the moment, you want to pop down and quickly jump in, let me know.
Yeah, those guys are going in a break in the next 45 minutes.
Anyway, let's get back to the action on the main table here. So it looks like Martin Fingers raised it up to 60k. It's been folded all the way around, and he will pick up the blinds.
So guys, here and Event 8, the 25k. I just want to mention the prize pool here. First place is $475,000. I mean, what are you buying with that? Or how many more 25k buy-ins you got?
Plenty.
Oh, let's just go get a house somewhere nice.
That's it.
Or maybe half a house these days with the economy. Second place, 300k. Third place, 200,000. Fourth place, 150k. Fifth place is 116. Sixth gets 90k. Seventh gets 70k, and eighth place gets $55,325. I'm not used to saying figures so big.
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from. I mean, I was shocked when I was looking up at the tournament board earlier today. I thought to myself, geez, we've done very well here. Players have obviously made the effort to either come in from international backgrounds or domestically here. They wanted to come over and see what Bankstown Sports has to offer, what the APT has to offer, what the TLPT has to offer. You know, it looks like we had 61 entries into this particular event, and that generates that type of a prize pool. Not to mention you know, the 9th place will be that 25k ticket. Like I said before, that TLPT will be
absolutely fantastic. I just want to put it out there too. We've loved your guys' feedbacks. Somebody asked us and said, you guys have the ability to put flags on your opponents, on your players at the table. So now we know the nationality of where everybody's coming from and where they hail from, whether they are residents here in Australia. As you can see, Martin Finger is from Germany. Josh McCulley is Australian. Now you can back your fellow countrymen, and there's little extra things that we love upgrading. We're doing it on the fly, ladies and gentlemen, but we certainly love all of your feedback, and our team non-stop gets to work to be able to just put the little extras in.
So as you can see here, Josh McCulley with the ace-10 suitors just popped it up to 65,000 on the cutoff, and being caught in the big blind by Martin Finger. The board comes ace-king 2, monotone, all in spades. This one could be over.
Wet board.
Yep, very wet, very hard for any of the players to be able to sort of continue here. Obviously Josh is going to bet out because he used the pre-flop raiser and most likely c-bet on this flop. It should get it done, but you never know. Martin's a tricky player, so he might be able to turn this hand into something. But we'll have a look. The bet was 45k, and just an insta fold. Pretty stock standard hand. Raise in the cutoff, call in the big blind. You know, flop's not conducive to continuing with that 10-8 of clubs, so pretty straightforward. Bet fold.
That's why you degrade us. Still a good flop though. Still taking it down.
Unreal. 2 red just 2 black, 2 red wins.
Just a little bit of a shout out, you know, just whilst we're waiting for the next hand to be dealt by Princess, who, God's honest truth, absolute, she's wonderful. I mean, she's been wonderful throughout the series. This is the dealer we're referring to here. She's been absolutely wonderful the entire series, as have all the dealing staff, not only in the 25k, but in the Goliath and all the other outside events. Very professional people have commented on how well they've been dealing all week. It's just a testament to the product that we're producing this series, and hopefully, you know, for more series in the future. Fold there of the 8-3 by Shan, comes around to Josh, he's going to lay it down as well. Yan Yan folds the king 3 off, and you just picked up the old pocket jacks on the button, and we'll raise it.
I'm actually glad that you did mention Princess there, because I personally believe, and just the person that Princess is, kind heart, hardworking, probably one of the best dealers in that I've seen in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She knows her stuff. She does it well, and you know, she's very knowledgeable, and that's what you want out of a dealer. You want to have somebody who's competent in their skills and knows the game and knows how to solve the issues. So she's been outstanding. So just back to the action here. So Yeda Chong raised up to 60k, back on Martin Finger in the small blind here. He's got the ace-4 of clubs. Probably wants to continue here. You might even look at doing something a bit cheeky, which it looks like he has. He's going to re-raise it up to, what is that, 240,000? 215. 215, the 3-bet. Yoon out of the way. Yeah. Also blocking a couple of clubs there for Martin Finger with a 10-3 of clubs.
Monkey, we've just got one of our major sponsors come into the chat.
Beautiful.
We've got Nuno from Absolute Prestige Cars.
Oh, they're the best.
Have you seen them?
Oh my God, you can't make it up. They are the best.
He is totally looking forward to his coverage of the grind. Nuno, I want to let you know the 25k is going to be finishing their final table, going into the Goliath, into the grind. So I think that's the streaming schedule that we're going on, and we absolutely love having you as a sponsor.
Absolutely.
And if anybody here is watching from the 25k Lord, and you win this amount of money, 1.4 million.
Straight down there, don't you?
Yeah, look, go straight down to Absolute Prestige Cars, and Nuno's going to get you sorted out. You're walking out in a McLaren, a Ferrari, mate. Just look at the advertising that we have for the Prestige Cars boys. Guy's an absolute legend. Can play cards too.
And he can play cards.
He can play cards.
Man of all skills, I love it. So I think we might have just missed a hand there. I think it was just folded around. I might be incorrect there because I was in the process of handling this with you.
Yep.
I think it looks like we're going for hand now because the dealer stopped dealing. So it's likely that we've just had a bust out. We can confirm that in just a moment.
What we're going to do, Josh, while we're in this hand-for-hand process, because it is a long one, I'm just going to cross over to Lucy. She's gone out and done a interview with one of the superstars from the celebrity event.
Beautiful.
And we're just going to jump off for a moment, guys, and cross.
Then somebody busted in the moment, I don't know. Yeah. I could probably fold sometimes.
Joined by Australian boxing champion Jeff Fenech. Jeff, welcome to Bankstown here in Sydney. We're really looking forward to you playing in the APT Celebrity Bounty event this evening. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Have you played much poker before?
Yeah, I was pretty blessed today. Part of my last ever fight, I got an invite to play in the Shane Warne tournament in Melbourne. I was playing, I had my son and a few other boys play, everybody was out. I was the last one in, so I had Jack 2, so I had a bounty on my head, it was a $1,000 bounty, so about 7 players all went in. The flop came out Jack 2. So all of a sudden I was the chip leader and I stayed there and I ended up winning the tournament. My first ever poker game, I won the tournament. Went to America to play in the World Series of Poker with Warney and the boys, and I've loved it ever since.
That's unreal. I don't think many people can say that the first ever tournament that they've won. It must be so amazing to be able to honour Shane this evening in this celebrity event.
Yeah, give me rumbles, Ember. Yeah, I love the guy. I'm so happy to see his son. I'm so proud of Jackson. He's such a beautiful human, and what a better son to have to carry your name. I think he's blessed. I think, and I'm just honoured to be here thinking of my great friend.
Such lovely words. And look, I know maybe in boxing, maybe you want to deliver a knockout punch pretty early, but what are your tactics with delivering a knockout punch here in poker? Do you play it slow? Do you play aggressive? Do you play tight, loose? What's your style?
It just depends what's happening, and I'll try to get a bit of a read of what happens on the table, see who I'm playing against, and then I'm usually, I kind of go out there and go for it a bit,
Oh, good on you. Well, thanks so much for joining me, Jeff. I really
so
appreciate it.
Everybody, I'm going to go for it.
Good luck.
Hey, thank you very much.
No worries. All good.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Jeff Fenech being interviewed by Lucy there. Great interview. That was for the celebrity event the other day. Plenty more to come. Back at the action here with
Josh and Yoon.
Yes.
Looks like a raise by Josh pre-flop and a call out of the small blind by Yoon. The flop's obviously come the Queen 7. Pretty dead board. He's going to continue bet here. Josh McCulley, he's my boy against your boy.
Yep. And Josh has got him a 3-1 chip lead here.
Trust me, Yoon is capable of making a play here, so this is nowhere near over at the moment. He's going to look down, have a think about what he wants to do.
It has gone check bet back to Yoon, and Yoon looks like reaching for chips. Could we see a re-raise? No.
He's just going to flat here. This is a very smart play. I kind of like this by Yoon. You know, you can take this pot away from Josh. That card probably isn't going to help. It does bring down the flush draw for Josh McCulley, but also any ace in this particular hand would be aces and queens and sevens with the ace kicker, which is most likely what Josh is trying to rep.
100%. That just gives. Look at the outs available up on the top of the screen there, ladies and gentlemen. 18 outs for Josh McCulley. You'd like to know if you knew you had that many cards in play. You're certainly throwing chips in the pot, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the outs, there are outs up there. Obviously, the aces that you can see at the top of the board for the outs, they would be chop outs, obviously, because it'd be queens and sevens with the ace kicker, and they both have the best hand that's showed on the board. But he does have some clean outs there as well. Very likely he's just going to bet this, unless you decides to get a bit fancy with his king 6. I'd imagine that just an extra bet here will be enough to, to ship him the pot.
That's it. Amanda Slater jumping into the chat. Let's go, Yida Chong. And I appreciate the condolences there from Dean Stacey as well, watching all the way from Queensland.
Doing a great job, Ado. I totally agree with that. He's been in the booth all week. had a couple of technical glitches, you know, at the start, but you worked with the team extremely well and was able to put on a really good production both yesterday and the day before, and obviously we're up and firing today, so everything pointing in the right direction there, Ado.
Yeah, mate, I still feel like I got my green hat on here too, but the exceptional part is that without my team, and I do believe it is a team effort, that this production wouldn't be the quality that we're bringing you today. So hats off to Matt Marshall, Craig Scott as well. They definitely deserve their camaraderie.
Well, here we go. I mean, this is like I was saying before about Yoon, if you have a look at his hand here, he's able to determine a hand range that he's put Josh on. Even though the 5 does peel off at the river, we're playing the board here, which is queens and sevens. Yoon's got the best kicker with the king, so he'll be playing queens and sevens with the king kicker. Like I said before, he's capable of making these plays and expertly reading his opponents. And in this particular situation, not only did he call a continuation on the bet, but he also called a turn bet. It was enough for him to take down the pot. You know, he's capable of making those plays, Ado.
Yeah.
Sick, bro. Yeah, so sick.
Just going back to the venue a little bit, you were speaking about it before. It's my first time here. I don't know. I believe you've been here before, Ado. Is that correct?
4 years ago, mate, we came to the Bankstown Sports Club. What a place.
Yeah, jinxed you, yeah. No, what a place. Actually phenomenal. The place is actually phenomenal. I found out, I mean, I walked in, I thought this place is, you know, out of control. A lot of restaurants, a lot of places to go and have something to eat, cafes, the whole kit and caboodle. And I mean,
where have you eaten? Everywhere I go feels like I'm sitting in a movie set.
Yeah.
I go to have pizza. I feel like I'm sitting in Little Italy. I go to have like a buffet, and I'm sitting in a train station with carriages.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I walk out into the main sports bar, and there's a friggin' waterfall.
Yeah, it's absolutely
Who has
crazy.
a waterfall in the middle of there?
So what I've been told is it used to be a train station, and they've converted it into, you know, this RSL sort of rec club, sports club, and you know, they've obviously got the McEwen here who've been looking after some of the players and some of the staff and so on and so forth, and they've done a great job.
Yeah, there's a hotel right in the middle of it.
Absolutely, but really impressed with the facilities, really impressed with the you know, the site that we're hosting this week. Just going back to the hand here just quickly though, it's been folded all the way around to the small blind, Joshy McCulley.
Attacking blinds.
There it is. He wants to put it in the raise here to 90k with a 6-4. He has walked into the Yan Yan with the Queen Jack suited. Yan Yan's probably going to raise here. I can't imagine he's going to flat and be out of position. Be in position, but very likely he's most likely going to raise and see where he's at.
Sometimes you get more folds. Yeah. Like it balances
Very smart
out.
player too, Yan Yan. I've actually watched him play on some of the outer tables earlier in the week, and he knows what's up, trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. The Chinese have definitely come over to Australia with a force. They're very unpredictable, and I am finding they are aggressive.
No, look, absolutely. I mean, it's just their style of play, you know. You see that they like to get in there, like to put chips in the pot, like to, you know, put a lot of pressure on their players and on their opponents, I should say, and it's shown. I mean, he's obviously down to the last 10, and you can only do that if you're applying maximum pressure on your opponents at all times. And you know, he's done extremely well, and very likely at this point in time to make it all the way. He's re-raised it back like I thought he would.
Yeah, 3-bet, 225k.
Yeah. This is the correct way to play this particular hand, in my opinion. He needs to see and get the information, you know, pre-flop here. He needs to kind of calculate hand ranges, and that's going to be enough to take it down. He's done a very good job here, actually, in my opinion, Yan Yan. That's the correct way to play the hand, and evidently he won the pot.
Evidently, yes, yeah, and that's what I said. Prior to just saying how the Chinese are aggressive, Yan Yan re-stacks his hand with chips and comes over the top of the Australian Josh McCulley.
And just having a look there, you know, 3.5, 1.5, look, it's anybody's game, wouldn't you think? You know, just looking at the chips in play and looking at this feature table here and the outer tables, you know, it's basically anybody's game. Somebody like you can double up and then double up again and be chip leader. You know, and he's capable of being able to do that. So, you know, not to put all the focus obviously on you, there's plenty of other players in the field obviously, but just suggesting that the shorter stacks in this event have an opportunity here, you know, to potentially win it, you know. As long as you've got a chip and a chair, Ado, you've got a chance.
That's exactly all you need, mate. A chip and a chair.
8 million.
So the blinds here, just the 15K, 30K with the 30K ante. It's been folded all the way around to the small blind. Yan Yan's, who just picked up the last pot, has picked up the King Jack, the King 6, I should say. So it's been a couple of long nights, eh? Yeah, I'm looking at the screen and sometimes my brain's being a bit dyslexic.
Don't worry, mate. I watched back a little bit of footage last night. I said one of my mates, Jack Ramsden, was on the table. He folded King Queen. I said, great fold, and he runs out quads.
There you go.
So we all get into the commentary moment where we miss call, but it's a long time here in the box. We've got plenty more action to come. Sometimes we make a bad read, sometimes we make a good read, but at the end of the day, I always say if we're good enough to be sitting at a 25K table, then that's probably why we're in the commentary box.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So Yan Yan here's just raised it up, I believe. Did he call or raise pre-flop? I can't remember the action. No, he would have flattered. He flattered.
Flat call.
The flat called pre-flop.
And then
King
check.
6, and then check on the board of the Ace King 9.
Yeah, that's terrible for you.
And he will take that pot down. That's back to back. He might be able to go for the trifecta here. 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, everyone knows. That's the
So just crossing back over to us here in the box, Josh Monkey and Aiden Glenn. Mate, you said 15 years of poker experience.
Yeah, it's probably more than that. God's honest truth. Yeah, it's taken me a moment to actually think about how long I've been in it, but it's 38 now. Yeah, I mean, I started dealing at Crown Casino when I was 18 years of age, so it's probably closer to 20.
Yeah. Well, what's probably been the highlight, though? I'm sure over 15 years, has there something stuck out in your mind that you thought, man, that was something that I can put in the memory bank that is always going to be there?
Yeah, I mean, look, some of the hands, some of the scenarios that we, at Crown Casino when I used to deal there were great memories. I also had phenomenal memories working with a tremendous crew of friends now. Really close friends, both in Sydney and in Costa Rica, working for PokerStars. I was also actually dealing in 2005 at Crown Casino when Joe Hasham actually won the World Series of Poker. And I remember, they had some person over the PA system saying, Joe Hasham's made it to the 7th and 6th and 5th and 4th and, now his head's up for the bracelet. So kind of I got to experience that from a different side of things, obviously the opposite side of the world, but got to sort of feel the atmosphere and, the excitement that brought to Australian poker back in 2005 when he won it.
Yep.
So that's one of the experiences. Obviously, through PokerStars, I've met some of the greatest players in the world. I've met Phil Ivey. I've met Daniel Negreanu. I've met, a lot of the high-end players that you see on live feeds across the world. I've also met a lot of the online pros. Jungle Man, we actually had lunch or dinner yesterday with them.
He's an entertaining guy, isn't he?
Very entertaining bloke, yeah, very entertaining bloke. A lovely fella. Nothing bad to say about him. Gentleman. Actually, funnily enough, he said, can you get me a sparkling water? I said, no problems. We can get you whatever you want, Jungle.
Yep.
I bring it back to him. He says, can I give you a tip? I said, don't worry about the tip. Just a lovely bloke, and unfortunately he busted yesterday, but he's in and around the building, and he's having a wonderful trip down here in Australia. So, we're very blessed to have him here and be one of our ambassadors for this particular event. And one of our key players in conjunction with all the other Poker Hall of Famers, and that's that.
Yeah, and I myself, I think 4 years ago we had Michael Mizraki here, here in this venue, and I went out and had a few beers with the grinder, and all I wanted to do was buy him scotch. And he's like, "What is with Australians?" He goes, "I have enough money to buy my own drinks, but everybody keeps buying me drinks." I'm like, "Well, that's just our culture." You know?
That's it. 100%. Round for round type of stuff. I understand completely. Anyway, let's get back to the action.
Mid pair here for Martin Finger, and we've got open-ended straight for Yan Yan.
Yeah, I don't think the open-ended straight's going to go anywhere here on this particular board. Combinatorically, it doesn't look like this board's going to be hitting many players often enough, especially when we're playing five-handed here. So Martin's most likely going to try and bet this one out, but I'm doubtful that this bet's going to be able to get through considering the outs Yan Yan has to to complete a hand that will be the best, no doubts, if the king or the 8 hits, even potentially the jack. So, see how we go.
That's right. Martin has bet 75K, and the action is now on Yan Yan. Look, the only thing that sticks in my mind here is I think that Yan Yan, with he'd make the call, but everything in my feeling of it prior to him making the call, that I thought he might have popped it.
Yeah, exactly. No,
with the aggression of the Chinese.
Understand. Now, this is a very interesting card at the river here, actually, because Yan Yan's calling range here pre-flop could include that ace here. This might shut Martin Finger down, but I've watched Martin play all week. He's a very, very talented player, lovely guy too. I spoke to him earlier this morning. He's enjoying his time down here. He's enjoying the event and how we've hosted the entire series. He has the ability here to try and bet this one through. He's going to check it down, however, most likely. He's just checked there, back on Yan Yan, who's contemplating, obviously, trying to bluff this card. Like I said at the start, this ace of spades is definitely in his range. So there's a possibility of him, barreling a bluff here and trying to take down the pot, Ado.
Yeah, fantastic, Josh. I'm Damanio Olaye.
Yeah.
I cannot pronounce that, but I know who he is. He's from Adelaide. He's a genuine guy. He's loving the call, and we do appreciate that type of feedback. Makes us feel good. I want to keep Josh in the box as long as I can, but he will have to go out and orchestrate this final table for the 25K. But he's in very capable hands with Stephen Dean, the Smurf, out on the floor. The first time working with Smurf for you, is it?
Yeah, it is. It is the first time working with him. Look,
great guy.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Like, I mean, I've been busy off my feet, as has everybody else here this entire series, and he's covered me a lot when I've had to do some administration stuff, either on or off the floor, and puts his thumb up and says, "No problems, I got you." And I'm very appreciative of what he's been able to help me with. And the rest of the TDs and the dealers this particular week. He's made my job a lot easier.
It makes me sad when we have to overflow and Smurf has to take the jacket off and get to the table dealing because he is so good at what he does. He deserves every accolade he has on that floor. And kudos to you, Smurf. You're a fantastic TD, and Australian Poker Tour is very proud to have you.
Yeah, so just to make sure we're getting the clarification on this guy's name, I know who this is. He goes by the nickname Damo. The surname's Aloy.
Aloy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, lovely bloke. Thank you so much for the positive comments there. We really do appreciate it. It is my first time in the box, actually. So, hopefully you guys are enjoying my commentary here with Ado, and hopefully I'll get another opportunity throughout the week to jump in here, just do a little bit of a cameo role for an hour, 2 hours, or whatever the case may be.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm actually having a ball for the first time ever.
It's not an easy task getting the director poker off floor. But the people at home need the analysis from you, and we love having you, Josh. And
thanks very much.
We're still in a hand-for-hand process, are we?
That is correct, yes, absolutely.
Got cool against Didier.
It still feels like the action's still rolling along, but the conversation is definitely flowing here.
Yeah.
Hello to Jordan Bromley as well. He is barracking for Josh McCulley and Yida Chong.
That's my boy, Jordan. I like that. Let's go for Joshy in this one. Not that we're picking out favourites, but, I've had a little talk here with Aiden. I've gone with Josh. He's gone with Yoon.
Yeah.
And, see how we go. Anyway, it's been folded all the way around. It's been raised here on the button by Yida Chong to 60K. Action back on Martin Finger, who folds the Queen 3 off. Round to Yoon. He's picked up a bit of a monster here, five-handed.
Yoon Kang, my selection, wakes up with Ace-Queen on the big blind.
I mean, look at how methodical he is. He's just a very, very, very well thought out player.
Yeah.
Just how he handles his chips, his demeanour, his poker face, everything. He's very, very methodical in the way that he plays the game. Not to mention he's wearing the Uniqlo. Yoon has actually moved it all in right here. Great play. That would take it down absolutely.
Rip City and takes down the pots. He is the short stack on the table currently at the moment. It does look like players have left. They may be just waiting for the other hand of the table to finish.
That's correct.
And
We'll be
then
building a final table.
They will be, yeah.
But again, like I just was saying about Yoon just then, very talented player, picks up the hand that he needs to, pushes it all in, puts maximum pressure on his opponent, enough to take down the pot, and, keeps doing that throughout the series. He's got throughout the event, I should say, he's got a very good chance here, even with that short stack, Ado.
Yeah, Yan Yan wakes up, ace king, big slick.
There we go. That's under the gun. Let's look down.
2.5. I like a 2.5 open, perhaps. Maybe you could increase the sizing.
Yeah, you might go slightly bigger here.
60,000.
There we go.
Strong. No, he reached out at the fall.
Almost make a min click there for 60k.
Yeah,
Seems
look, it seems pretty standard getting a strength under the gun and min clicking, 2.5ing in that range. Yeah, standard play there from Yan Yan.
And Yeda here just picked up the absolute beautiful hand to take down the ace king there with the 7-6 of hearts. Has a lot of promise, that particular hand on certain boards. So, let's see how this one runs out. It's got to be folded all the way around. They've got to go heads up here. Ace king versus the 7-6 of hearts.
Josh, mate, I'm just going to leave you to hold the fort.
No problems.
I've got to deal with one of my things on the floor, but I'm only going to be 5 minutes.
That's no problem.
Keep them entertained, my man.
I'll do my very best. No problems whatsoever. So like I said here, just going solo. Ado's going to step out for 5 minutes to deal with an issue. Yan Yan, who raised it up just to 60k pre, got called by Yida Chong. He's going to take this bad boy down with the old ace king 10 board with top 2 pair. Chip counts, as you can see, Yida Chong on the 3.3 million, Yan Yan 1.9, Josh McCulley 1.3, Yoon Kang, who's come from the bottom now to the second bottom position there with about 10% of the chips in play, and Martin with about 9%. So we'll see how we go today. Again, thanks very much to all the people watching the feed, both on Twitch, YouTube. We appreciate your support throughout these events and throughout the series. Thanks to the guys who are putting stuff in the chat. Let me know how I'm going. I'd like to know if my voice is coming through too loud or you don't like how I speak. Just let me know so I can jump out of the box and I can get somebody who's more of a professional in the field. So it's been raised here by Yida Chong with the ace 8 suited. He's made it 60k, which seems to be the most common sort of raising 2x line here. Fold it all the way around. And yeah, just an easy pickup. Raise, fold all the way around. Take the blinds. Let's move on.
I just play 7s, jacks, ace x. That's it.
In the box with me right now, just jumped in. He's filling the gap with me. Harvey, how are you?
Harvey Silver here with Josh. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Exciting day, another exciting day here. It's buzzing outside.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, behind these curtains here and outside of this commentary position, if you walk out there, there's a plethora of people out there playing a myriad of different events today. We've got plenty of them on the schedule. You can look them up online. It's a great venue to host this type of series. What do you think, Harvey?
Absolutely, and not least the social facilities, 11 odd restaurants, bars everywhere.
Just talking about that
it's
before.
Just, yeah, I know.
Phenomenal.
We've been on the last 2 or 3 days just talking about how surprised we are. First time you walk into this Bankstown Sports Club and go, wow, are we in Vegas?
Yeah, well, that comment's been passed around a lot. It feels very Vegasy. So Yan Yan here, it's been folded around here to him in the small blind. He's picked up the 9-4 off. He's elected just to flat there, and they're going to go see a flop against Yida Chong with the Queen 9, who has him dominated. Flop.
Have you found play this morning was pretty loose up to the last break last night, and then got very tight?
Yeah, look, I think it's common. The closer you get to the bubble, the closer you get to the money, the slower the players will play, the more conservative they might play in certain aspects, which does bring that kind of, changes the aspect from last night at 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever time we finished. People start sort of winding down. They're more selective in their hands and so on and so forth. And they kind of just want to get to the final table as fast as possible, especially the money. But once they've had a sleep and they wake up and they go, okay, we're playing for some big money, they've decided it might take you know, they've got to be more conservative with what they do, and it might take a little bit more time.
Absolutely.
River card there comes to 7 of diamonds. Queen 9 off. Still the best hand there with the ace, queen 10, 9, 7. No player has made a pair in this particular hand, so the queen 9 is the best hand. Thank you for that comment, Bella. Noted. Yan has elected here to check.
Neither of them have anything. It's, I mean, this is where...
Battle of the blinds, you know, it's battle of the blinds. So it's just check here from the Yan. It's back on Yida. He's most likely just going to bet here and take this down because Yan's got 9 high, essentially. And that should be more than enough to be able to get it done. Yan, though, you know, he's a crafty player. You know, there's a possibility here that you could think about making a play here, considering how the action went. It's a blind v blind type of scenario. So he has the possibility of bluffing. I don't think he will, but let's see what the action does, especially facing a bet of 150k half.
Certainly taking his time.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just looking at the board, looking at his hand. He's thinking it's a blind v blind battle. Combinatorically, how often are people hitting this particular board? He has elected here to lay this hand down, which is the smart decision here. I think trying to make a play there is probably, you know, a negative EV play. Looks like the players have got off the table here temporarily as they're playing a hand for hand. Depending on what happens on the outer table, I can't see it from here, but depending on the outer tables, it looks likely, Harvey, that we might be going to a final table soon.
Well, it's going to be real soon. The secondary table's just off to the left there, so all the players can see each other, can see what's going on. It's not like they're at the other end of the room.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, absolutely. The tables are probably, you know, from the main stage to the other outer tables, they're probably 2, 3, 4 metres away. Obviously, we've got rails up to protect the players and the game's integrity. So, look, we're just getting some notification through on the headset at the moment.
Yep. Sounds like we're still on the bubble.
Yep, that's correct. So the players will be returning to the table ever so in just a moment.
I'm sure since the start of the broadcast, you've been encouraging people in the Sydney area to come down and play. It's a great experience to come down here. We've got the big Hashem Deep Stack event. I think a lot of people have been waiting for that. That'll be a great one to play.
Yep, absolutely. You know, and from all accounts, all the Hashems will be playing in that event. So I think there's 4 out here. Is that right?
There's 4, and I think a couple of people are changing their name to Hashem tonight just for the night.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Yeah. Everybody's coming in and then just adding the old Hashem at the end, hyphenating the surname.
We walked in a couple of hours ago, and Tony introduced me to, here's my cousin. I'm assuming he's a Hashem. So.
Yeah, that's it. So the action's going to continue here. Obviously, so we're not down to the final table yet. They're still playing hand for hand action here. Action's going to start off here, I believe, on Yoon. He lays it down. Just having a couple of technical issues in terms of the whole cards information at the moment.
I don't mind this, Josh. We've a couple of times we haven't even put them up when we have had the technical opportunity. I love, just for the viewers, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot easier when you see the whole cards, obviously. What would you do in this situation? And you know, like it for me too, to sort of not exactly know what they're holding before they are. So
yeah, look,
it's good.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you see when you play.
Absolutely.
You know, there is no whole cards, well, not that I'm aware of anyway. You know, there are no whole cards when you're playing this game live, you know. And so we're basically commentating this as we would if you were a player. Obviously, Martin here is facing a raise. Like I said before, we don't have the details up on the screen at the moment, but we've been told they're just glitching temporarily. They should be up and going. He's facing a raise here by Yan. This is Martin Finger. He's from Germany. He's in the big blind. Yan raised on the button.
He was pretty active yesterday, Martin. and he's all in.
And that's a fantastic move here. This is putting maximum pressure on the person on the button who, could have any range of hands. Usually, the button, obviously the button is the most powerful position on the table. He would be raising in that particular spot with a whole range of different hands. Very unlikely that he's going to be picking up a monster on the big blind. He usually raises there just because of positional reasons. And obviously Martin has sensed some weakness or has picked up a strong enough holding to feel like putting the maximum pressure on him on the button was the correct play there, and it was. He's taken down the pot, and let's move on to the next hand.
I think there's a bit of a different feel this week. We've obviously experienced a lot of Australian Poker Tour. It feels very up, jovial. Everyone seems to be really into it out there.
Look, I mean, the players are saying hello to the dealers and the staff are saying hello to the players. It's very friendly. People are extremely happy. The venue's looked after us. The players have been well taken care of. I mean, the feeling here is what a venue, what a place, very likely to, organise something for the next series potentially at the same venue, considering how well the players and the staff and everybody involved has been treated, And as you know, Harvey, it has everything. So where else would you rather do it?
Yep, I think from a personal perspective, very dangerous to have it somewhere where there's a bar open until 5 a.m. But
yeah, no, I totally agree. I believe that. I don't know what time it actually closes. I'm usually in bed a couple of hours before then after doing a 20-hour shift.
Yeah.
No, I hear you loud and clear. It's good. You can just raise that up and took down the blinds, it looks like. And again, like we're saying, we're on hand for hand at the moment. So the play will be a little bit slower than what people are anticipating to see on this particular feed. But this is how it is. Sometimes when you're on the bubble, you have to go hand for hand. It does take a bit of time.
And we're talking big money.
Yes, no, absolutely. I believe 475k up top.
Incredible.
300k for second. And it filters all the way down to that 25k TLPT ticket. Here's Moz in the seat. This is one of our experienced dealers from Melbourne. Really good guy too. I've known Moz for probably a good part of 5-6 years. Been around the scenes with him before. Got a great pitch on him. Very knowledgeable, very professional. Just an all-round great bloke and dealer. So that technical glitch here has now been resolved. So as you can see, we can see the whole cards and the chip counts, players' names, and so on and so forth. Martin Finger here. He's on the button. He's picked up a great hand on the button there, the old ace-jack suited. He's going to contemplate his options here. Very good spot to re-raise or 3-bet, as they would say here. Yida Chong, who raised to 60k with the jack-8 off. He's just trying to figure out his bet sizing. I'm anticipating something like maybe 225, 230, 3x, 4x it from here. He needs to, raise enough to make his opponents consider what type of range his hand he would be holding to raise enough here. So I'm expecting something in the vicinity of, 200, but let's see how we go. So he's elected to go for the 3x here, so he's made it 180k with that 3-bet. Yoon will fold the 6-5 off. Round to Josh.
This was the hand that was the downfall of Joe Hasham late yesterday, the ace-jack. Ran into a full house, 7s over 5s, and he was out.
There you go. And Josh McCulley here picks up the old ace-9 off, which is dominated against Martin Finger's ace-jack suited. He's going to elect to make a decision here, and he makes the correct one, which is folding back round to Yida Chong with the jack-8 off, who also folds, and Martin Finger will be taking that pot down and showing his cards.
Yeah.
It's a very international final 10 that we've got here, isn't it? A few locals that you'd know quite well, but we've got a few overseas visitors.
Yeah, absolutely. From all accounts, it's somewhere in the vicinity of 35 to 40 people internationally who've made the trip down here to the old Bankstown Sports Club in New South Wales, Australia. You know, predominantly, obviously, the players are going to be domestic, but to have that kind of a turnout with international players this particular series has been really impressive. Believe it or not, Yida Chong's picked up almost identically what he had the hand before with the Jack 8 off. He's going to elect to raise it again to 60k. Looks like we've got a bit of the rinse and repeat type of situation on. Martin Finger does not pick up the Ace Jack of Spades, however does pick up the Queen 9 of Spades. Elects to fold back around to Yoon Kang, who picks up the Jack 6 suited on the button. Elects to fold round to Josh McCulley, who also folds, and the small blind will also, sorry, the big blind will also fold, and Yida Chong this time, raising it to 60k, will take it down with the Jack 8 off.
Be active, you know.
Absolutely. As you can see, there's not much in it here. I know that 3.4 sounds like a lot of chips here, but you know, you're looking at Yoon, who's got 860,000 in chips. Very good opportunity, you know, for him and for Martin, who have that lower chip stack, Harvey, to get a double through. Look at 1.6 million, 1.7 in chips, and you know they can do some damage with that, Harvey.
Oh, that just turn them around completely, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
We've seen some tournaments played and won so far, and we've also witnessed a number of players coming from a pretty short stack to win those tournaments, namely Joe Hasham, who won the very first event here, the PLO. He was heavily short stacked when there were 3 left and finished up taking that tournament and 30k in prize money. It was a nice start for the world champ, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can't dream of a better start as the world champion enter into that first event there. Bingo. You take the first prize money and the trophy to go with it. I was actually there for that. I stay on from start to finish here, which are long days, as you know, Harvey, but it's part of my role. And I was able to witness that firsthand, and very impressive win by Joe Hasham, who's we're close family friends with. I actually get to play golf with Joe quite often, and occasionally get into some of the games that we like to play. So he's a lovely guy. Josh.
You spoke about the trophies. We've got some rings that'll be up for grabs, and then a beautiful bracelet too that is the prize.
Shade 8 folds.
They're all impressive. The trophies are nice. The trophy for the Lawn Bounty event, which Michelle won. Also, no one come from behind to win that, and that was a beautiful trophy with a sort of a shadow in the background of Shane Warne bowling. Beautiful glass trophy. Geez, you guys have done incredibly well with the souvenirs, the memorabilia, and the winnings, and merchandise too. There's some nice merch out there. A lot of people wearing the Lord jacket, which we see here on the table. They've been snapped up. The university jacket has been snapped up everywhere.
Yeah, look, it's a nice looking bomber jacket, that sort of university bomber jacket. Colours kind of contrast quite well with the room, actually, in the cosmetic sort of appeal. Everybody's been very happy with how this is run. They're very happy with the merch, like you said before. Just going back to that hand before, Josh McCulley there on the button raised it up with the ace-8 suited, enough to take it down, pick up the blinds. And the button will be moved on to Yan Yan for the next hand.
And you've spoken about the power of being on the button, of course.
Absolutely.
Which is amplified when you're only playing 5-handed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just it makes it's just the most powerful position on the table, and obviously the shorter the table is with players, the more powerful that button becomes. And right at the moment, you pick up that button with a decent hand, or even if you don't, being in position is really crucial, especially in such a big tournament like this and other tournaments. But very crucial to get all that information first from all the other players before you act on your hand gives you that that ultimate advantage.
And also, of course, knowing that you'll be last one to act after the flop, so
That's it,
you'll
absolutely.
be able to see what happens. So, King Jack for Yida.
Yida just here in the small blind. He's picked up actually, to be honest with you, a very strong hand here in the small blind, all things considered. We'll raise it up to 100,000. Action will be back on Martin Finger. He picks up the 9-6 of diamonds. He's also the shortest stack on the table by about 60, 70k. He's got that 32% chance here. He might be able to flop a flush draw, pick up a pair, and if he decides to elect to call here. He's in the big blind, so he's already a little bit committed. Let's see what he chooses to do.
You can lick it if you want.
Damiano, I see that you put it in the chat there. Do we know the rough chip stacks are on the outer tables? We're actually getting that information at the moment. That's why Ado ducked out just before. We're just getting some more information for the stream so that we can provide you with the best service possible. And I'll let you know as soon as that becomes available to us.
Don't think he's going to call this, is he? No. So just a reminder too, Josh, everyone out there, that we're in a little bunker down behind the table. We're watching this as you are watching this, so we're not watching a live game and putting it out on delay. We're actually watching this on delay, so the info that we're sending to you is going to be in time with the broadcast, not in time with live play. We on delay for obvious reasons. It's a half-hour delay. Security on seeing the hole cards is at its absolute maximum here because we are not seeing the hole cards until half an hour after play. So this is the way to do it. I've done a fair bit of poker broadcasting. Normally we commentate it live and send it out on delay. This is a little bit different.
Yeah, I believe that that's correct. Like I said, I mean, this is the first time for me in the booth. I'm just learning the ins and outs of it.
Having fun, enjoying it?
Yeah, look, I am. Look, I am. I mean, I don't know what my voice sounds like down the microphone, but hopefully I'm doing a good job in the booth. You know, only the commentators and the people. Sorry, the commentators. Only the comments from the viewers will let me know how I'm doing. But hopefully, I'm holding the fort well. We just see a raise here, a raise to 60k by Yan Yan with the ace-8 suited, the old natural 9 in Baccarat, and a call by Yida Chong for 60k. Sorry, I was just put off there a little bit, Harvey, with somebody telling us some information.
A little bit going on live as well.
Yoon's going to fold there in the big blind with Jack-8 off.
So we finally go to a flop. I don't think we've seen one since I sat down. So here we go.
There you go. Big card in the window.
Nice.
Oh. And actually a pretty big card for Yida Chong too.
Can be some action here.
Yan Yan there. He raised it up pre-flop with the ace-8 suited, flops top pair there, and gets called by Yida Chong with the king-queen, who has flopped a second pair there, half, so there could be a little bit of action here. We never know, but Yida's a very strong player. He would know most likely where he is in this particular hand, even though he holds the second best holding at this stage. Check, check on the flop. Here's the turn. 10 of clubs brings down the Broadway straight draw, also brings down backdoor clubs. Neither players have a flush draw to go with their hand, but that 10 on the turn actually does help Yida Chong's chances of winning this hand, because there's a possibility of him hitting a jack on the river to complete that straight. We'll see what happens though with the betting. Yan Yan electing to go the 55k into the 205 that was originally in there, and now the action's back on Yida Chong with their king-queen off. Trying to figure out his outs, trying to figure out whether or not he can win this hand. You might even think that he's got enough to be able to raise here. He's elected just a flat call there, that 55.
Yeah,
Let's go to the river.
Not surprised he wants to see a river here. He's got a lot of possibilities.
That's not one of them.
No, that's a brick for him.
That's a brick, absolutely. But look, again, you know, on this particular board, a lot of hands also miss, and that is the reason why Yan Yan has checked there.
Yep.
Some hands miss, and Yan Yan's got to go check, check at the river. Yan Yan's going to take that down. It's a very wet board for the first 4 cards. It can, you know, with that brick at the river there, possibility that people can be bluffing, hence the check, check at the river. And the best hand there, the ace-8 suited, will take it down with top pair and an 8 kicker.
So we wait again. Just a reminder, we're going hand for hand here because there's 10 players left. We're one from going on to the final table of 9. So they're going hand for hand.
Dealers in 25k challenge, hand number 16.
Heard from our tournament announcer supervisor. Hand 116 here of this event.
All dealers for the Goliath, please return to your tables. All dealers for Goliath, please be at your tables.
He's seen the Jack 8 a little bit, hasn't he? Get up.
Yeah, he has. I think he might have picked up almost that exact holding probably 4 or 5 times. And feels like that anyway. It's probably closer to 2 or 3. He has picked up that Jack 8 quite a few times in the last, half an hour. I think he got raised off 1-1. Raised off 1-2 maybe, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the format, and I have to go back and check. I've seen so many hands this week, Harvey. It's hard to remember and keep track of everything.
I'm sure. This is a...
But he's done what he's done the last couple of times, raise it up, make it 60k to go in the cutoff there. The action's going to go round to Yoon, who folds the King 9 suited.
It's a tight fold out of the small blind.
That's correct. And back to Josh McCulley, looks down at the 8 too. Forget about it, he says, and puts it straight in the muck. And Yuta Chong with that Jack 8 again will pick up the pot. Just to let you know, Mr. Aloy there, do we know what the rough chip stacks are on the outer table? I have spoken to Ado, who just came in to inform me that we have rough estimates of what they do have. However, for the telecast reasons, when we merge the tables down to the final, we'll make sure that we confirm all those numbers. We don't want to be throwing numbers out into the chat or throwing numbers out there that might be incorrect because hands are going on the outer tables and we can't follow the same outer tables as the feature that we're commentating on at the moment. So, yeah, once we break down to the final table, you have all those details, but we're doing the best we can.
I have any plans for today? Do you have any plans today? Like dinner, lunch?
Yeah, thanks, Demiano. That's correct.
Lunch at 2. Yeah, sounds good. I'm trying to slide into the money and then...
We are
surrender. No, I'm not surrendering. I'm just
waiting around again.
Is the ticket the money or is 50k the money? The ticket is... Oh, okay.
Gives the boys on the table a chance for a bit more chat. It's the other thing I've noticed for the last 3 days. The tables have been incredibly chatty.
They love a chat, even if there is a language barrier there from some of the players, obviously some of the international players with limited English, they're really enjoying each other's time here, They're happy to open up conversations about whatever, they stand up, They're very likeable characters and that's sort of coming across quite well, in terms of, how they interact with themselves both on and off the table. It's obviously very friendly there.
I can't hear.
I don't know when you got in, Harvey, but I got in on Thursday last week. Stayed in and around sort of inner city. Beautiful city. If you haven't come and you're watching internationally, Sydney is just an absolutely wonderful city. Not as good as Melbourne, which is where I'm from, but it's an outstanding city. If you get a chance, please come along. And if we have this event next year at the same venue, you know what? Make your way down to the old Bankstown Sports Club. It's very impressive there, Harvey. And we have spoken a lot about it. And I don't want to get too deep on the Bankstown Sports Club, but I've been really impressed. And yeah, this event and this series is running extremely well. And we're looking forward to coming back.
It's an enormous complex. And we're right in the smack bang of heavily Vietnamese populated area. And step outside the doors here and the place is just full of Vietnamese cafes and
beautiful
markets.
Food, though.
And yeah, it's like walking through Saigon, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah.
And again, noisy, chatty,
Lovely,
everyone's laughing.
lovely people.
Yeah, Yita's got the jacks now. I'm under the gun.
Raises up to 60k, folded around. Yoon's going to fold that 10-4 off on the button in the small blind. Josh McCulley picks up the 8-6 off. He's going to elect to fold that. And Yan Yan with the natural 9, the Queen 9. The natural 9 in Baccarat, obviously, but not in poker. Doesn't help you in poker. We'll elect to call here out of the big blind for that 30k, and we're going to a flop. Oh, bang, right in the window, if you don't mind, the Jack 10-2.
Oh, my goodness, he's got the open ender as well, Yan, so...
Could be fireworks here. Top set here versus the Queen 9 open ender on a very dry board. Obviously, all mixed suits on the flop here, which means that they're all clean outs. Check by Yan Yan with that open ender, straight back onto Yida Chong, who has got that top set of jacks. Oh, sorry, pardon. Back onto Yan Yan, who's got the up and down. Yida Chong was just c-betting it pre-flop.
Yeah, just a small bet with his trips, and he's going to get called, of course, with the open ender.
That's correct,
on
Wade.
just 40.
4 doesn't help him though, unfortunately, but he still has clean outs here with any 8 or any king to make that complete that straight. You know, there's a possibility if a queen comes down here, you might think he's got the best hand too. Harvey. He's elected to check it here on the turn. Action back on Yida Chung.
This might be the size of the bet here for Yida. If it's another small bet, he'll get called.
That's correct.
Goes large, you might get him off this.
What's that, 175K?
180, it's,
180K.
it's decent, and it's a decision now.
A couple of big stacks here too. Yan Yan with the 1.8 mil. Yida with the 3.1 mil. You know, he has clean outs here. Maybe he might elect to call here because he knows that if he spikes this at the river, there's a chance that he might get paid off, especially if it's the bottom end of the straight there with the 8 and he ends up making the nuts with the queen 9. Almost certainly he's going to get paid off here against top set of jacks.
And obviously, without Yida knowing what Yan's holding, I think that's a really good size bet. He's putting him to the sword here.
Yeah, I think, look, personally, I think it's...
no, and off it goes.
That's enough. There
yeah,
you go.
It was a good size bet.
Interesting decision there by Yan Yan. You know, in my professional opinion, I don't mind calling there. Maybe this is the reason for why I'm sitting in the commentary box and not sitting on the table.
You
These
and
guys
me
are much better than
both.
us.
I'm telling you, I'd probably call there
Yeah.
with an open ender, and you know, probably feel if I hit my queen, I'm still ahead
Yeah,
at that
absolutely.
point. So, yeah, and we said it all day yesterday. Everyone plays different styles, and especially in a tournament like this where there is so much on the line, you know, we might get a little complacent. But this is 25K that people have paid to go in this,
exactly
and
right.
no one's satellited into this. They've put their 25K up, so it's easy for us to sit here and go, oh, why wouldn't you call that? But fair.
It's a lot easier when it's a lot easier when it's not your money on the line. You know what I mean? But when it's your own money, decisions like not calling there with a queen 9, obviously a bit more predominant because you're playing for some decent money and a decent buy-in.
Yeah.
Martin Finger here, under the guns, going to pick up their king 5 suited in hearts. Pardon me, it looks like we might have a slight technical glitch there because I don't know how the cards have been shown up on the screen before they've been dealt.
Look, you're going to see that every so often. The RFID table that we're using, great technology. Probably everyone at home can see that there aren't little cameras that you have to hold your cards up to, or there's no glass for us to. All the cards have chips in them, and on the odd occasion, just the time delay between the graphics coming up and the vision that you're seeing at times will make it look like you're seeing the cards before they're being dealt.
Yeah, okay,
But it's totally a technical, it's just the time difference, and between our audio as well. It's the syncing of everything.
Okay, I understand.
There's nothing underhand that you need to be worried about at all. It's just, it's a total technical, and it's one of our challenges here in the way that we've set up the broadcast to try and sync that up exactly. And sometimes when you're a second or a couple of seconds out, it does look like the cards, the graphics coming up before the cards have been dealt. But for everyone at home, it's, as I say, it's totally a technical thing. There is nothing untoward going on.
No, we double check, triple check. I was part of actually help building this this table with the rest of the boys at the back. You know, these things can happen. There's so many wires going through, you know what I mean, Harvey? There's electrical wires, there's the wires at the base of the table, there's the radio frequencies, there's the headsets going on, there's, security, with mics on and so on and so forth.
Well, the security is the biggest aspect. That's why, we potentially are running into these slight sync problems, because security is our number one. And so Ado, who's obviously been on commentary as well, and his team have put together a really great setup here. It's a brand new setup. It's the first time that we've been using it in this format, and as I say, that's potentially why every so often you might get a little bit of sinking. We had some comments yesterday. How come we're hearing the dealer telling us what the bet was before the guys actually put the bet out?
Yeah, right.
It's that sort of stuff. So it's just trying to sync up, you know, everything.
So Yoon here has decided to raise to 65k under the gun with the ace-3 off. And on the button there, Yan Yan has called me the King Jack. Very defendable hand, King Jack. Martin Finger here in the big blind with the King 6 off. Just going to have a little sneak peek, make a decision what he wants to do. He's going to lay that down, let them both let these last two fight at it.
Nice to see another flop.
There we go, 205k in it. Oh, and an absolute monster of a flop for Yan Yan, if you don't mind. He's flopped the house here, Harvey.
Yeah, but absolutely nothing for Yoon. So just be how Yan Yan plays this, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it says less than 1%. Basically, Yoon needs the perfect running aces here to make aces full. The only chance to actually win this pot. He's in a tricky situation here because he was the pre-flop raiser. He has the ability here to c-bet, but he's also very talented, so it's likely he'll check here and maybe just shut down on this type of board, Harvey.
Paired board on the flop when you've got an ace, though, is often tempting because the chances, obviously, that Yan Yan's, well,
it's kind of an interesting card on the turn a little bit here because
he's got no chance now, Yoon, but yeah, that's too scary for him now that the queen's come out. But yeah, when you pair the flop, the chances of Yan Yan holding a jack, I suppose, are diminished.
Yoon here just going to see, he's going to check on the flop, he's going to c-bet on the turn, or delayed c-bet as we like to call it, by check and then betting the turn out here. Absolutely no chance of this getting through, I can tell you that much for free, with Yan Yan who's flopped the full.
He's just going to call surely, yep. And hope to get a bet out on the river.
Very likely here, in my opinion, that Yoon will not continue bluffing the river here unless a 10 comes off, which it doesn't. 10 would have given him the straight, and he could, you know, bluff into this particular hand, potentially with the best hand. But Yoon, a very smart player. Unless he decides to do something silly here, I can expect him just to check this down. Mind you, Harvey, he's pondering.
Yeah, he's pondering. Seeing the whole cards, obviously like to see him check. See what Yan Yan does and then put it back on Yoon to call, which we know he won't, but let's see what happens here.
You know, just looking at the facial expressions here, Harvey, you can tell he's picking up on something here. You know, he's thinking whether or not he can, if he moves it all in, which he looks like he might, whether or not he can get the person off. No, he's decided to elect to check, which is what we thought was going to happen.
I think you read that pretty well, didn't you, mate?
Absolutely. Now, I've been around the industry a little bit. I can understand. I can pick up on a couple of these tells. You can kind of, you know, is looking his opponent up and down.
Yeah, and he's got the, have a look at the facial expression here. What do I do?
Yeah.
Am I going to have a stab at it?
Well, he's actually in a pretty interesting spot here. He's trying to figure out what to bet to entice a call.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine this getting called ever, to be perfectly honest with you. But again, we are playing five-handed. The possibilities of flopping a full house are so small. But considering calling ranges to a raise that you did pre, it's very likely that calling range will include some of the cards that you see both in Yan Yan's hand and on the board, and therefore it's very likely that Yoon has sort of figured out he doesn't have the best.
And it went straight back into the muck, so I think it was only a 70,000 bet into a 345 pot, and it went. I think the cards were in the muck before the chips hit the
it did seem like that, the snap fold. Yeah, I bet, and that would, forget about the amount, the cards were already in there.
In the 25k challenge, where Gary all in and at risk with ace, queen offsuit.
Okay, so we have an all in on the secondary table. Yes, so we're just waiting. Again, we're hand for hand here. And if someone gets knocked out on that other table, we will be on a final table here on our feature. Just wait to hear.
River a queen, and Gary will get the double once again. We are
You heard it.
There we go. He's still on the bubble. Incredible, actually, to be honest with you. I would have thought we would have made it down to the final table by now. We did kick off proceedings here at noon, local time, so a couple of hours ago. And we've been playing, I think we started off with 11 this morning, is that correct? And then down to 10 and so on and so forth. So, you know, we're still waiting for that final table to be done and the bubble boy to be granted that 25k ticket.
In the last couple of hours of play last night went pretty rapidly. I think we got down to 11 from sort of, 16, 17 pretty quickly. And then,
now I'm more tired. I'm coming in short.
as you say, as we get close to the bubble, as we get close to the final table, it slows down, tightens up. Isn't helped by the fact that we're going hand for hand, so we've got to wait, for each hand a little bit longer. But we will get there, and I'm sure those of you that are watching out there on Facebook are going to stick with us through the day.
My first win. That was the first one. Okay.
I was 19 or so at the time.
Oh, I see.
I played sick on that one.
Yeah.
Like for
I watched
back,
the
in,
hands.
back in the days, and like I played crazy. Like
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
3 raises to 75,000.
Yeah, nice.
It was wild. That's for sure.
How much, Josh? 1.2. Right. Thanks.
So, pardon me, Josh McCulley has just raised this up to 75k pre under the gun with the old Jack 9 suited in hearts. He's facing Yida, who has picked up the Ace 10 suited in spades on the button, the most powerful position, and he's electing here to re-raise.
C6 raises to
As you would. 'Cause it's, again, that the power of the button.
Martin Finger out with the Jack 3, Yoon out with the 10-6. 3-bet was to 185k. Josh is going to contemplate what to do here with the Jack 9 suited, but
playing, I don't
likely
think.
to put it straight in the bin, which he does. And
It's
Yida
not,
will pick up the pot.
Sorry, Josh, not just the power of the button there, but obviously the power of the chip stack. The
Chip stack, the cards, and the button. He had all three working for him.
yeah.
What's your biggest score? Millionaire maker or
He's not quite bullying the table, I wouldn't say, because he is getting the cards, but he's got 3.7 mil. He's in a really strong position, Yida, and
10 to 1 heads up.
when you've got a third of or a quarter of his chip stack,
Yeah, recreational.
a bit more cautious, of course.
Of course.
No, he's from Queensland, but yeah. Like, I did play well. He just ran like super hard.
Let us know how we're going in the chat. The chat is up. Let us know how you're going. If there's anything else that you think that we can do on our feed to make the experience even better for you, let us know. Any feedback's good feedback for us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a good year.
Walking the line between, obviously, a lot of very knowledgeable poker players out there watching the stream, and probably some people who aren't that educated in the game, so we're hoping to clarify some things that maybe the experienced players think are pretty obvious, but yeah, it's it's part of our goal here at the Australian Poker Tour to bring more players in, to make it a little clearer maybe if you don't think you're an expert at this stage. They say this game is 5 minutes to learn and a lifetime to master. I think that's absolutely right. It's probably the best description of poker I've ever heard.
It's true.
And
even these guys here on the 25k, they're still learning. You know what I mean?
You never stop learning. You did mention Joe Hasham, and he busted out yesterday, and he was disconsolate when we saw him afterwards in the bar. He was absolutely kicking himself. He'd worked 11 hours on this, grinded it out, and then just terrible read, and probably he was pretty card dead and just got a bit desperate and just
Bluffed into the nuts,
he bluffed into the nuts.
And that was all she wrote, huh?
Yeah, so
Beautiful.
yep, you're learning all the time. So,
and he's the world champ, mate, and he's still
Yep.
learning. So it just goes to show you
Yeah.
how difficult the game
absolutely.
is. Yan here with the Jack 4 off under the gun, elects to fold. Yida Chung has picked up a hand that he can play here. He might elect to raise here with the Queen 10 of clubs in the cutoff. Cutoff being the position just before the button. Button being that dealer button you can see right in front with Martin Finger, who's picked up the 6-3 of spades and elected to fold. Round to Yoon, who's decided to fold in the small, back to Josh McCulley with a 10-6 suited. might elect to just limp in here or call this raise. It's only an extra 30k to go. See a flop, and you might be able to outplay it post flop here, Harvey.
Yeah, he's in there for value. It's a really tough one. You need such a good flop to be able to continue here, but he's going to take the chance. And there's absolutely nothing there. So
Doesn't pick up the flush draw, doesn't make a pair. You know, he can backdoor into a straight, so on and so forth, but very likely this hand will be a sort of a check bet fold type of scenario with that C bet by Yida, who has represented a hand that was worthy of betting on this flop, Harvey.
And again, just the value of having a big stack. He's got 3.6 mil.
That's picked him up a couple of outs here, Josh. He might have a stab here now that it's gone check. He has picked up, he can obviously win this hand with the 6, a 4. Just a few outs there, as you can see out the top there. But, you know, considering it's gone check, it's likely that out of the big blind here, as opposed to the cutoff, this is kind of a big, you know, the board is kind of more likely to be in the range of somebody in the big blind who's flatting. So
he has checked it though, and I'm be staggered if he gets a check back here from Yida. Doesn't want to give him a chance to catch anything, but he does check.
Like I said before, you know, in terms of ranges,
and he does.
Big card on the
so this
river,
is bad for Josh. This is the worst card that could have come out for him, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a cooler, essentially, of a river card there. The 2 out 10 hitting, giving both players top pair. Josh in a world of hurt here, actually, considering that it's gone check. He can't put his opponent on anything that's hit that board. Now he's picked up top pair himself with a weak kicker against somebody who's picked up exactly the same pair, but obviously with that queen kicker, you know, playing a crucial part in this hand here, Harvey.
There you go. I just said he won't check again to let him pick up a card, and he checked and picked up the best card for himself. So
yeah. You can't make it up in fairy tales sometimes.
So he's bet, I think, 75, looks like.
It should be
85,
a fraction more,
sorry.
85 there, yep. It's hard on the feed. And just a flat call, insta by Yida Chung, who's going to show the queen 10 of clubs and take it down with top pair with the queen kicker. Pair of 10s, queen kicker.
Scam river.
Ugly river card there for Josh, but I think he lost the minimum there.
He did lose the minimum. He
just the 85 and a flat call, that's it. Sort of hand played, relatively standard. You know, he could have put himself in a world of hurt if he decided to check, let Yida bet, and then decide to make a play there and make it a raise to 240k or something, and get called down and cost him, you know, 3 times as much as he contributed there at the river.
And totally get the flat call there from Yida as well, because if he raises and Josh re-raises him, then Yida's starting to think, well, where am I at in this hand? So
yeah, that's it.
It makes a lot of sense.
That's actually a massive
And
call.
again, I'm sure a lot of our viewers are sitting there thinking, well, actually, I would have played that differently. But you know, that's why we love poker.
Yep.
It's
You know, we're just talking before. You know, I just want to give a few shout outs if I can. Shout out to all the staff, the guys working in the back for the bump in, bump out. People don't know, it's a big operation that we're running here. A lot of tables, a lot of chairs, even just, you know, all the small things, you know, the seat covers, you know, for the dealers, where the cushions for the dealers' seats, the bollards, the banners, etc., etc. It's a big operation, Harvey, and just a big shout out to them. Shout out to all the Hall of Famers and the celebrities that are in the field. Shout out to Zoe, and shout out to a couple of other people, including Ado, who's just walked back in to give us a little bit of an update on what's going on outside.
We'll give you a look at the room when we come back. Once we reach final table, we can swing these cameras around and show you what's going on away from the feature table as well. See a full room here.
Sorry?
Of a number of tournaments that are going on concurrently.
Still on the bubble. Yeah, when will it end?
You come down and play in a satellite here, maybe satellite your way into the
bubble continuing
Hashem Deep Stack for as little as $60. But no one has satellited into this 25k. Everyone has paid the full amount to get here. We've got 10 left. We're going hand for hand. That's why we've got a slight delay.
Like, if you want to.
And once we lose one player, either off this feature table or the secondary table, we will go to our final table. Have a little break at that stage.
How much you got? Let's go.
So we're still on a hand-for-hand break at the moment. Thanks, Mike, watching from Singapore. Hope the stream's nice and solid for you.
Mike Maddox, welcome. Ado's back in the box here as well, and it's great to see him pop his face in. This is the Lord hand for hand. We're about to accumulate the two tables down. Not far now from a final table, ladies and gentlemen. How good was the call from Monkey, Josh Monk? I did enjoy that, and mate, always a pleasure to have Harvey Silva in the box, the great man.
Nice to get some insight from Josh. He's obviously seen a lot of APT in his time, and when he's impressed with what's going on, you know that there's a good job happening out here. He was doing a call out to everyone who's contributed, and people have worked pretty hard, not least the dealers. The numbers have probably been exceeding of expectations. The dealers have done some long hours because they've had to stay here probably a bit longer than they thought just because of the numbers on the table. So we've got a, hang on, what is going on? Are we back? Or, no, I think we are back.
There it is. We have a final table call there.
I thought that's what was happening.
There was an elimination from the outside table, and the dealers and the players have just been called to go on a break. Let's cross back into us here in the commentary box.
You're going to show our beautiful faces, are you?
Yes, mate.
In our little bunker?
Yeah.
Here we are.
All right, back live in action. Aidan Glenn here alongside of Harvey Silva.
Well, this is exciting. We've got to the final table finally. That took a fair while this morning. I would have thought that we might have got here a bit earlier, but
3 days of grinding down to the final 9.
Yeah, we've been grinding too,
haven't we, mate?
But no, it's great to be here. We're going to have a really exciting finish to this. Can't underestimate how incredible it is to have 61 entries into a 25K event.
It's been absolutely amazing, and watching the play, the Chinese have come out strong. They are aggressive in the way they play on the poker table. The Aussies are hanging in there. We will give a final confirmation of who the final 9 is once we come back. We're going to do a little presentation with our tournament directors as they make the call on the floor and who the remaining 9 are. And also, just to give a little update here as well, 8 places get paid. So we will see the money bubble on the final table.
That's exciting too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So the first person to drop, unfortunately, still goes home with a handshake. And then the remaining 8, first place gets $475,000, Harvey. Second, $300,000. Third, $200,000. Fourth is $150,000. Fifth, $116,000. Sixth, $90,000. Seventh, $70,000. Eighth, $55,375 for a total prize pool of $1.456 $375 million.
It is pretty amazing. It really
Yeah.
is. So, well done to Australian Poker Tour, and well done to the players that have come down and taken part in this. We're going to see it's probably about a 50-50 split, I reckon, locals and internationals. We've got the internationals have been very strong in this tournament, quite a few entries, and can't wait for it. We're going to have a little break, aren't we? Until we get going here.
We are, but first of all, guys, I'm going to cross to Lucy with one of our celebrities.
Yeah, so we had the Warren Celebrity Tournament a couple of days ago, and our lovely Lucy caught up with some of the celebs. This was a fun day, and let's go.
Let's jump across to Lucy. Take care. Ado and Harvey signing out. See you guys at the final table.
Joined here by Chris Walker. Chris, thank you so much for joining me here. Are you looking forward to this evening's Celeb Bounty event?
Yeah, it's interesting. The last time I played a celebrity bounty event for Hash, I got knocked out after the second round, after the second hand. So hopefully tonight I can do a little bit better than what I did last time.
Tonight might be your night. Who knows? What's your poker style? If you had to describe it.
Reckless, ruthless.
There's a few of those here tonight.
Yeah, so hopefully it gets me right through. All I want to do today is beat Campbell, Brown and Willie, and then I'm happy.
And do you think that you've got a good chance against the Hashem boys, because they've been on fire here at this APT so far?
Yeah, well, I mean, Joe just won the first event last night, so they're on a bit of a hot streak. If we can beat them tonight, I'll be very happy, because actually Tony taught me how to play poker back in 2006 in Melbourne. So if I haven't improved since then, that's 17 years ago, I might as well give the sport away.
Alrighty, well, thanks so much for joining me, Chris, and good luck tonight. I hope your aggressive style gets you over the line.
Thanks very much for having me.
Oh, good.